Yeah, I'm a man of many jobs. One of them being a woman. I get a lot of short people come up to me and they're like, "Hey, can you write on my print?" Hey, you short king. They were like, "You can submit for any of these that you feel like you want to." So I submitted for Pentious and Angel Dust.
Was Hazbin the perfect recipe of everything creative for you?
Oh, wow, the perfect recipe of everything creative. It very much does tick a lot of boxes.
What's up, guys? My name is Joe. Welcome to the podcast. Today's interview is brought to you by FanDuel.
Wait, so tell me a little about yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're from New Jersey specifically, but how did you get into, all of this whole shebang? How'd you end up out in LA?
I loved YouTube ever since it first came out, and I thought it was the greatest thing ever.
Okay.
And I would make comedy sketch videos with my friends, and upperclassmen would see it in school. And I found it to be the perfect vessel where if people enjoyed your creativity, it almost found your tribe for you.
Yeah.
And I thought it was the best medium. And ever since then, I've been making videos since 2006.
Sure.
And then in 2016, I just moved out to LA because I knew I didn't like New York.
Cool.
And I wanted to try LA.
Yeah.
And everyone said, you'll be back in a month.
I know.
And I've never been back.
There's a lot of folks who have said that to me as well, and we, albeit, have seen a lot of like people move out here but then come back to the city, and I'm viewing LA through rose-tinted glasses. I just got here like literally last Monday, or the Monday before last, but and I fucking love it. Like, I really, really like it. I think exploring LA is a lot more exciting than exploring New York City, because New York City just kind of looks the same. I mean, it varies from neighborhood to neighborhood, but, like, it's a city, And LA is too, but it's a bit more of a sprawl, and I feel like geographically there's just more to discover and different vibes.
All the neighborhoods are so unique.
Yes, very much so.
From food to the activities to the people, it's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
I always liked having my car.
Mm-hmm.
I never liked taking a subway.
Sure.
Because I also, at the time, I was filming for people. So
Yeah.
I don't know do you remember a couple years ago at Level Up, I filmed for Viv a couple vlogs.
Holy shit, yes. Oh my God, so I have met you in person before.
2 years ago. We didn't talk too much.
Wow, yeah.
Because
I
everybody
do
was,
remember that. I remember meeting you there.
yeah, so in the city, I would have to lug all my equipment, and I hated it. And then it's raining. It's
Oh my God, I feel that way about fucking getting groceries, Like I going to Trader Joe's here was a spiritual experience for me, because I'm like, I can just get as much as I need, rather than like as much as I can carry. And I got my buddy Dan says that like everything in New York City takes about like 30% more energy. Like to do anything, there's 30% more people. Everything costs 30% more, though I think, LA is really expensive too. But at least in terms of housing, it feels as though like you get a little more bang for your buck out in LA. Like the amount I pay for a 2-bedroom in New York is fucking hilarious.
What part of New York?
In Bushwick.
Brooklyn?
Yep. And it's like $4K for a 2-bedroom.
How many square feet?
I should know.
But 2 bedroom.
Not enough.
Is your bedroom the size of this room?
My bedroom it's a little bit bigger than this room, but not by much. Yeah, not by much.
Would you ever make the move out here?
I think there's a definite possibility. I think right now I'm entering a little bit of a bicoastal era, and I don't think I'll ever go out of a bicoastal era, because I see the merits to each city, and I feel like I can operate career-wise in both respects, But in terms of like where I want my home base to be, like this really feels good to me right now, and I'm trying. My mind has this tendency to think like, oh, this feels good. Maybe this is what I should do. Maybe this is the plan that I should have and the right thing to do for the rest of my life, And I'm just trying to like let myself enjoy this now and not feel like I have to like over plan or make any crazy decisions right now. But I'm really enjoying LA.
I'm very biased, but I think LA is the best.
Yeah.
I thought it was the best move. Coming out here in 2016, it was endless possibilities.
Yeah.
There was just so much everything.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I mean, I have yet to like explore the everything, but in terms of like industry wise, like there's more TV film casting out here. I know production itself is kind of moving elsewhere, but
Does being here for that help you?
Yes. Yeah.
Even though it's all remote and you send in your submissions.
Even though it's all remote, I mean, making a face-to-face interaction with a casting director is hilariously beneficial, because the thing that we miss out on with self-tapes is like it's become all about the product and not about the collaboration or the interaction between the collaborators. And uh, that's the thing. That's the vibe check that you miss in self-tapes, is like walking into the room being like, "Hello, fellow human. I'm gonna do a thing for you, and we're gonna do a thing together, and you're gonna see if you like that thing and if I like you too." And that's lost. It's just here's the product, here's my take, without any chance for direction from you or anything, and I'll just send it off. And it's so depersonalized that I think when you cast for something, you want to know like how the person naturally is, and where they tend to sit in a social capacity, and how they interact with you. And it's like, I don't know, I bet it sucks when like you hire somebody based off of their performance and you find out they're a total wang like in person, as a person. But yeah, so all that to say, I think the entertainment industry being like a connections based industry, you need to have the ability to make that connection, and you don't get that with self tapes.
How long are you here in LA visiting for?
I'm here from this month until May.
So there's
I'm
a good
here for a
chance you
while.
fall in love.
Yeah, and I think at the very least, irregardless of like having to make any big decisions of like moving out here for a year, like I'll at least make sure that I come out here for like 3 months next year as well. But I think it'll, based off of how this trip goes, like it'll probably be for longer.
Real quick, guys, today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, FanDuel is dropping bonus bets into everyone's account for the tournament. Now is the best time to sign up. All you have to do is opt in to claim the bonus. Use them on your bracket picks, money lines, spreads, totals, game props, or even same-game parlays. But don't wait, because these bonus bets are only available for a limited time. Just visit FanDuel.com to learn more, or click the link in the description down below. Now back to the interview. What about Broadway and doing live performances?
I was on Broadway in a show called Harmony. And I went to school for musical theater. I went to school for musical theater because musical theater was like the nexus between everything that I wanted to do. Yes, I wanted to do musical theater, but I also want to do songwriting and music, and I also want to do TV, and I also want to do film, and I also want to do voiceover and stuff like that. And for voiceover, LA is a great place to be as well, especially when it comes to like if you're interested in motion capture, which I definitely am, and it's still like something I want to break into. But all of this to say, I think that oh fuck, I lost my train of thought. What was your question?
Coming out to LA, moving here.
Moving here, musical theater. I was in a Broadway show
Harmony.
2 years ago, and I loved it. It was a beautiful process, and I love theater. I think it's this beautiful ephemeral space, and it's truly special. But it is a lot of work, and it's a very large commitment. You're signing up for a year-long contract typically, unless you're a big star and can negotiate like a limited run or something. But you're signing up for a year of 8 shows a week, and during that time, you're not doing anything else. You're doing the show. And the show is your life, and you're living like a monk, and you're more often than not, you're not getting, unless you're a part of like the oligarchy of like Broadway stars that get cast all the time in all the shows, you're not getting paid what you should be getting paid. And not to mention the job security, the volatility of the Broadway industry of shows opening and closing is it's not a dependable, medium. But then again, what is at this point in the entertainment industry? But all this to say, my experience with it is like, man, I just, between wanting to work in music and wanting to do TV and film and wanting to do voiceover and wanting to continue going to conventions and stuff like that, like I need flexibility in my career if I want to be multifaceted. So that's not to say that there aren't like there can't be eras to someone's career. Like this is my Broadway era, and then this is my music time. Like you can portion out those that way. And I definitely want to go back to theater at some point. But I think right now is like definitely like, okay, let's focus, let's lean into the music thing and see where that goes. Let's lean into the TV and film thing and see where that goes. And one thing that I've always felt, and that's been apparent in the success of like Hazbin, is that if I try in all of these regards, to put myself out in all of these facets and audition and something will stick at some point. And the rising tide lifts all boats, and that's very much been the experience that I've had with Hazbin Hotel. It's supplied me with a lot of opportunities that I wouldn't have had otherwise if I, didn't have the visibility that I do now because of Hazbin. I mean, it's really changed my life. It's also through conventions, like put me in a much more secure, like financial situation to where I can come out to LA and take up the opportunity of like working on music and seeking out, connections in that regard.
Was Hazbin the perfect recipe of everything creative for you?
Oh, wow, the perfect recipe of everything creative. It very much does tick a lot of boxes. Um, it ticks the animation box and the voiceover box. It ticks the musical theater box too, and I think the those two boxes being what they are, like yeah, that's the thing I love, and that I think a lot of the art nowadays is doing more of it, or trying to do more of, is like cover like have a multifaceted method of storytelling. um and yeah, voiceover was the first thing that I knew I wanted to do. Ever since I do conventions like with Steve Downs and Jen Taylor, who are the voice of Cortana, and Steve's the voice of Master Chief in the Halo series.
Do you remember
And
when they reset the live rankings on Halo 2?
no.
Oh, on Xbox Live because there was so much cheating.
Okay. See, here's the thing. I grew up on a farm, so we had dial-up internet.
Oh, you were playing live?
Yeah, man. I literally I could not play online, and so I pivoted and only played RPGs and like modded the fuck out of them. And the way that I always say that I feel like I got into storytelling was through video games, and specifically through having Skyrim and modding it to like where I had a journal. Like you could do crazy shit with modding Skyrim, like turning dragons into Thomas the Thomas the Tank Engine.
Yeah.
I almost said choo choo train. But I instead I was like, oh fuck, a journal. And I logged like 700 hours into Skyrim on just on my laptop. I also had it on my Xbox
In case you wanted to play over here.
But yes, but a lot of that is like, it is the 14th of September in like 1382. My vampire girlfriend Serena has left me. Making my own shit up, and then like it wasn't too long after that like I don't know, somewhere along the way between that and my like theatrical, disposition, my parents were like, we should probably get this motherfucker on a stage. But yeah, it was voiceover first when I like read an article that Steve Downs did in like Gamer magazine, where I was like, oh, that's a thing that people do. Oh, okay. Hell yeah. And like watched him like on a panel, and different voice actors, and I got into Critical Role, and I started thinking to myself like, yeah, this is really great. Like I absolutely love this, and I would love to voice act someday. And then through, by proxy of like doing theater, I realized, oh, I really love singing. Oh, I really love theater. And then when it came time to decide a direction, I thought, okay, musical theater is the fulcrum point between, voiceover and everything. And I want to be able to be as multifaceted as possible so that I can be a bit of a Swiss Army knife, you know, like entertainment industry wise.
What's up, guys? Real quick, I just want to tell you about a recent trip I had to Hawaii. I stayed at the Andes Maui at Wailea Resort, and it was 10 out of 10 hotel. It's right on the beach. It has 15 acres of land, and there's 3 cascading infinity pools, plus a private adults-only pool. The food is incredible. The hospitality is incredible. Everyone's super friendly, and it's big, spacious, and you just feel like you're actually in Hawaii. Plus, they have an incredible spa and some really fun activities like canoeing. There's a luau on property. There's a lot of activities that you could do for yourself or as a family. My dad did ukulele lessons, and I think they have paddleboard rentals. Don't quote me. Check out the website. It's in Wailea on Maui, which is a perfect location. I think a hotel when you're traveling needs to be in the prime spot. This is a prime spot. It's really close to everything. It's walking distance from a mall. There's a golf course right nearby. Plus, again, the beach. They also have a walking path that is stunning. It's a great spot. If you're looking for a hotel and you're going to Hawaii and you're going to Maui, check out the Andes. Big recommendation for it. Now, back to the podcast. How does the Hazbin Audition find you, or how does Viv find you?
Viv, they put out a casting call, and I got that voiceover submission from my agent.
And you're in New York at the time.
I was in New York at the time. I just moved out to Brooklyn. I was subletting from a buddy of mine, and I remember, I mean, I've told this story before. I remember so fucking vividly when I got the audition. I was having a shit day because, like, I don't know. I was having a day where, especially with voiceover, you know, you send so much out into the ether and you never hear back. And that day specifically, I got the audition, and I was in a rut mentally, and there are days where you get a submission, and it's a very wonderful thing to get an audition that you have to submit, but sometimes it feels like homework. And sometimes you procrastinate because of the existential like dread of like, is this actually working? Is this actually going to get me anywhere? Is this just going to be another time that I send it off and hear nothing back? And so all of that was like kind of compiling on top of one another, and it was really tough. But I finally got myself. I'm like, okay, I'll get my Scarlett 2i2 out on the fucking bed, and I'll plug in the cable, and I'll get my mic set up, you know, because I didn't have like enough room to actually keep the stuff set up, and then I. What they had sent was a list of the male identifying characters and non-binary characters, and they were like, you can submit for any of these that you feel like you want to. So I submitted for Pentious and Angel Dust, and the thing that I always love saying is that, and that I continually try to remind myself when I am having a down day and I receive a audition for something, is that like what I experienced when I submitted for Hazbin Hotel is reading for it totally reversed my day. Like it totally turned it back around. Like reading this hilarious writing and such like specific characters, specific world, and I was laughing while I was doing it, and like and it just turned my whole day around. And I remember it was like maybe a month or two later that I heard back that I got it. But
you just got it. That was it. You're confirmed.
That was it. Yeah. They didn't call me, you know, like in, or they didn't
no callbacks,
me,
no
like no.
How
which
cool.
was wild because yeah, I just sent that one. It's actually kind of crazy. I just sent that one submission in, and Viv got that, and of course she's reaching out. I hadn't been on Broadway at that point, so I was like one of the only people that didn't have like a Broadway credit at that point. And
was the audition a singing role as well?
Yes, they had me read for Angel Dust like line wise, and then they also had me sing "Toxic" by Britney Spears, and that was fun, and I really liked it. But Viv received that and was like, oh my God, this motherfucker sounds exactly how we need him to sound. Like I did sound, though I didn't know I was replacing anybody at the point, which is kind of a wonderful thing. The Angel Dust voice that you hear in the show is the one that I made. I didn't hear a reference from the pilot voice actor, Michael Kovac, who does a fantastic job. I didn't know I was replacing anybody. It just happens that the voice that I did sounded exactly how they wanted it to sound.
And that's from you reading the character description?
That's just from me reading the character description, which really just had like nasally, high-pitched Brooklyn accent. And that's it. And I knew I had like a little, like a Joe Pesci impression that I don't know, I didn't think it was like really good, but like, you know, I thought, okay, like let me take this and just really force it through my nose and really accentuate like the Brooklyn accent and take it a little high-pitched, and maybe I'll make him a little like, you know, sexy and sultry and stuff like that. But Viv got it and was like, wow, 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 who is this? And she tried to like see if like there were any connections, or like if I was, you know, a total piece of shit or not. And she had somebody else who was very close with her on the team, had a mutual with like one person that followed me, and that I was friends with on Instagram. And she was like, okay, I guess I'm gonna reach out to this person and see. And that person was like this wonderful guy, Nick, that I shared housing with, doing summer stock in Aspen, Colorado. Like, and it was funny because we did go through like a little bit of a tense moment, like during that summer, that kind of just left things off like, okay, all right, well, goodbye to you as well, you know, and it's been a pleasure.
Never hear from that
but
guy
it was,
again.
you know, like it was definitely like, yeah, like I didn't really know what his opinion of was me after that. And it's a type, it's like trivial shit at the time that, you know, I mean, that like now in retrospect I'm like, ugh, like why was anything a big deal in college? But all that to say, this is the person that she reached out to. She was like, "What do you think of Blake Roman? Like, is he a total piece of shit?" and like, and when they told me this, it scared the shit out of me, because I was like, like I don't know if this person likes me. Like, I don't really like after that summer. And apparently he got back and he was like, yeah, Blake's a wonderful guy. Like Blake, you know, like super good, super nice, you know. And I DM'd him like a while back and was like, hey man, fucking thank you. Like, thank you so much. So I mean, it really is it is one of those like cautionary tales, right? Like that we always hear in the entertainment industry of like, don't burn bridges. It's never worth it. You never know what, you know, circumstances or whose input is really going to help in some capacity.
That's such a
right?
great example of that.
Yeah, and by no means is that any cause for us to like stay in toxic friendships or anything. Like literally extricate yourself from that shit if you're experiencing it. Like, but I think that it does call forth a need for, you know, you to use your judgment. You know, like what is worth like burning a bridge, or what is worth like getting I don't know, mired down. What are you getting mired down with in your social connections and your industry connections? You know, like let's keep the bar up a little bit.
I'm so curious because you auditioned for Angel Dust and you also auditioned for Sir Pentious.
Yes.
How different did your Sir Pentious sound to?
Oh, enormously different. Yeah.
Do you remember what you channeled for it? If Angel Dust was the Joe Pesci.
Well, the thing is that, you know, like so often when I audition for a voiceover role, if I'm channeling an impression or another person, you know, even like another performance that somebody does that I heard, and I'm like, oh, I think I can do that, and I like the tone of that, and let me kind of put my own spin on it. It always will make it more specific if you're pulling from something in real life. And for the Sir Pentious one, I wasn't pulling from anything. I had no you know, foundation of inspiration for it, and for that reason, you know, it wasn't very good. So that's also a nice lesson in it too. I'm like, okay, cool. Let me find a basis of reality for the voices that I choose. Let me find a solid fucking person or performance that I can go back to and I can reference and be like, yes, okay, cool. Now let me like try to channel that through my own definition of what that is.
Who'd you choose for that?
For Angel?
For Pentious.
Oh, Pentious? Well, I didn't. for him,
Oh.
which is why I feel like it just
It
wasn't
didn't land.
good. It just didn't. Yeah, yeah. But also, Alex is just so clearly the choice. He bodies that role. Like it's insane. Sir Pentious would not be who he is without Alex playing him.
You get the call that you're going to be Angel Dust. What is the next step going forward? How soon after are you recording the lines and the dialogue? Do you have the script? Do you have the song?
No, I got none of the materials. They thought, okay, we're gonna. I think it was maybe July at that time, and they were like, we're set to like maybe start recording in, I think maybe September or maybe October. But so there was still a little bit of time, and I think the thing that I did like right after that was like, oh, I guess I better watch this fucking show. Like, I better watch the pilot and like get a feel for what it is, because I still hadn't seen the pilot. I knew nothing about it. I only just like made up the voice and submitted the audition. And
Are you aware of the castmates?
no, oh no, and even when we got into the recording of it, I didn't know who was in the cast until maybe like we were recording the 4th or 5th episode of the season, and then they sent out a script that actually had the breakdown of everybody in the cast, and you could imagine my surprise as a Halo fan and a Mass Effect fan, that when I saw Keith David was like gonna play Husk, like my supposed like who I'm playing opposite from. We would have like so many scenes together, and I lost my fucking mind. I texted my friend. I was like, "Hey man, guess what?" He was floored, so it was really really a cool moment. And also, considering all the Broadway people that were on the list too, like Jeremy Jordan, he's such a huge influence to me in terms of musical theater, as he is for like any fucking white guy in musical theater. Like I swear I would watch everything that he was in, and everybody was always obsessed with him. And so then like when I'm like, oh, I'm in the same the same show as him. That's awesome.
What's it like being part of that ensemble? Because it's stacked.
Yeah, it's wonderful. I mean, the one thing I think at the beginning of recording for the show, the biggest thing, or any show, be it theater, TV, voiceover, the main thing that you have to get over is imposter syndrome, right? You got the job. You are enough. Do the job, But we spend so much energy and time like worrying about like, oh, am I right? Am I right? Should I be here? I don't know. I mean, look, like fucking Erica Henningsen is on this thing, and all these ways of like talking down to ourselves, and the wonderful, wonderful, wonderful thing that after season one, season one was a bit of jitters, a bit of like, okay, cool, my first big voiceover role, like I hope I do an okay job. And then when we started doing conventions and we started like having more cast events where I got to meet the whole ensemble, I realized that these people are just people. Like these folks that we place on a pedestal, and which they're totally worthy of their pedestals, But I feel like the entertainment industry is it very much through seeing people in interviews, seeing people on a platform, seeing people do photo shoots and everything, and like be on TV. It makes them feel larger than life, and it's something that you can only, and why I love conventions so much, can only come into perspective. Uh, it can only come into perspective that these are just people when you are in a room with them and chatting with them and seeing that it's like, oh, they have anxieties too. Oh, they have insecurities as well. They're super fucking talented, but they're humans just like me. So it was after I started doing conventions, after I started meeting a lot more of the cast, in person, that I started to feel that imposter syndrome kind of go away. And now we're just people, and it really has helped industry wise, because whenever I'm like meeting people that I look up to or that I'm a fan of, it's nice because it's like it's not like I'm not a fan of them anymore, but I also have this understanding now of like you're just a dude, I'm just a dude. We're trying this industry's crazy and you know, it's a job. And so it's been very freeing in that way to be on a show with so many like crazy, famous and talented people. I feel very, very lucky because it's a lot of people that I look up to, and throughout the process of all of this, I've learned a lot from.
Is there anyone on the cast that you'd want to share a song with?
Oh, everyone. I would really love to share a song with Erica Henningsen though. I will say I would love for Charlie and Angel to have like some sort of like duet, you know? That one specifically.
I'm so curious as to what your impression of Angel Dust was at the very beginning, because
Yeah.
you voice out the whole season and then you get to see it months later on.
Uh-huh.
What did you think the first time watching it back in full?
Um I remember oh boy, in full I had already read, we had already read like the full script, so like I did have the full arc of him in my head.
And you read
And
everybody else's lines too?
oh yeah, I
The
mean
full story.
typically when I get a script, I will read through everything because I want to know the context and I want to know the tone of the episode. I want to know the direction like that it takes in every scene because that'll only help contextually for my performance. Sometimes it's superfluous and doesn't have anything to do with it, but I think it you should always be. Let me not tell other people what to do. I always like to read the full script because I want to know what I'm in, you know. And I think specifically the impression of Angel Dust that I remember the most was in the process of recording. I did the first couple episodes and we would do isolated episodes. We would do just a recording session for episode 1, and I would only read episode 1 because episode 2 and beyond scripts were not out yet. And so we were all pretty much learning the story as it went along and as we recorded it. So my impression of Angel from like episodes 1 to 3 was like, come on, what's this vapid, performative, like irreverent guy that just like won't let people get past his surface, He's always deflecting, and there was a little bit of like, I don't want to say annoyance, but just a key into like, oh, I wonder why I feel this way. Huh. I wonder what actually is underneath all of this guise, that he puts up. And then when episode 4 for season 1 dropped and I read that, I was very much, it all made sense to me. Like, yeah, okay, I understand now. It added. I knew that he was a layered character beforehand, but episode 4 specifically brought me into realizing like, oh shit, yes, he has so many different sides to him, and so much that he's dealing with, and subsequently as like his actor, there is so much to play with. And so that was a really wonderful moment for me because it opened a lot of doors.
When you get the songs like Losin Streak,
Yeah.
how did you go about figuring how to sing it, the way you wanted to approach it, the prep for it?
Yeah. Well, the funny thing about Losing Streak is that Sam has said he listened to some of my original music, and based off of that, he kind of wanted to go a certain direction with Losing Streak to accentuate like the higher falsetto kind of head voice range that I have, which you don't get to hear a lot, or you didn't, at least in season 1, because Poison is this hyper rigid pop song that rhythmically I just feel like very much is indicative of his situation, feeling constrained. And Loser Baby is a little bit more like free, but he's still struggling through that. And Losing Streak, you start to actually see him loosen up a bit. And Sam puts it great because what he wanted for that was for Losin Streak to really follow the vocal and be sparse instrumentation.
What do you mean by follow the vocal? Like you're the
vocal is the guiding, propelling force in that song, rather than a song like Poison where the rhythm is and the voice is very much kind of, I don't want to say constrained, but is functioning within the structure of the rhythm of the song. Whereas with Losing Streak, the structure of the song is kind of like a floating around it, or a bit more fluid, and in correlation to the voice, like that the voice is the main instrument in Losing Streak.
Do you have a favorite song you like to perform?
I love Losing Streak, and I think it makes sense too, because like if Sam did kind of like consult my original music for that, it's because I do really like singing up there. I just love like that kind of floaty, airy like range, and I think there's a lot of emotion to it. And so. Yeah, I also like Losing Streak because it's a little bit easier to find breaths singing it live.
What about
than
Poison?
in Poison?
Yeah, that seems very tough to sing live.
Yes, I mean we did that that live like Broadway one night show on Amazon, and I sang Poison for it, and by the end I feel I'm watching, I'm like like trying to sing and say the words and like look at the camera, and I think to myself, I'm like, okay, if I could go back and do that, I'd move around a little less, so that I could maybe have some air in the tank by the end of it, because it is a relentless song. You really are like clipping in that song, but say la vie.
There's that one video too on Viv's channel of like before you guys in the club.
Yes, the one where I was a little tipsy. I was so well. We don't memorize these songs when we sing them in the studio. We have the sheet music right in front of us, because typically we don't receive the scripts and the music very far ahead of when we need to record it. So and things change, and so we don't memorize them. And I hadn't memorized Poison, and then I think like 2 days before the premiere event, the PR people texted me and were like, "Hey, can you sing it? Like, can you sing this like at the premiere?" And I was like, "Yeah, I mean, I guess I can try." and that song specifically, there's slight variations lyrically to each refrain, and between that and the variations in the verses, and then like the tag on to the end of it, like I was getting my brain was mangled, and so I just got to the point where I was like, okay, cool, let me down like a couple of 7 and 7s before I go up, and it ended up being great. I mean, I had a really good time, but it's so funny watching that video too, because there's always, for any of the live performances I've done of the material from this show, there's always just been one thing where I'm like, and for that one specifically, I'm like, you drunk bastard.
What I love about the show is that not only is it so well written, but everything has a purpose and it comes back around, and even the music itself progresses the story.
Yes.
What does it feel like for you to be part of a machine like that, where everything matters and everything's important, and things right now are setting up for season 3 and 4 and 5?
But personally, it's not too different from the way that I've functioned in like musical theater to begin with. Like the writers and Viv are so good at making this show, and because they're good at writing musical theater. In musical theater, there's no reason, except for a couple caveats, why you would have a song that does not forward the plot. Whenever a song happens in a show, there's a good reason for it to happen. It happens because the emotion is so high, the drama of the moment is so high that the character can't help but sing. And that song needs to take us somewhere. We need to be in a different spot when we're on the other side of that song than we were when we started it. And that's like 101 for musical theater writing. And so that's why I say Sam and Andrew and Vivian are so good at writing musical theater, because almost all of these songs get us somewhere different by the end of it. And when we look at like animation specifically, even just irregardless of like musical theater, it's necessary because every second counts in animation. Every single second. Even if you get like 15 seconds more to add to an episode. I remember there being a conversation where like Viv said like, oh yeah, like was saying something about like we got 15 more seconds, or like we only had 15 seconds left, and I was happy because it allowed me to tell a lot more of the story. And I was like, what do you mean 15 seconds? And it really is like that in animation. Like if you get just a bit more of time, like every single second counts, every single frame counts, and for that reason, you gotta write a song that is impactful and takes the story somewhere, because 2 minutes, a 2-minute song is like a monumental amount of time in animation.
That's so well put.
Yeah.
Real quick, guys, thanks for watching this interview with Blake Roman. If you haven't yet, leave a comment down below and let me know who else from Hazbin you want me to interview. And if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, because I have lots of interviews with Christina Alibato, Vivian Medrano, Joel Perez, Brandon Rogers, Sam Haft. The list goes on and on. So if you haven't yet, make sure to subscribe. Now, back to the interview with Blake. What was your reaction to season 2?
I loved season 2. I thought it was really, really cool to... It was cool to talk to Viv in the meantime, like whenever we would do conventions while she was working on season 2.
Are you trying to pull things from her?
Sometimes, yeah. Like we have had a couple conversations, but I think at the beginning I was kind of like prying, and trying to get the information. But then like now I'm kind of laying off a little bit and just letting her cook. But I do remember talking to her during the production portion of season 2, and she was saying how happy she was with it, and how the animation side of it specifically was really locking in to her taste and how she wanted it to function and the level that she wanted the animation to be at. And season 2 kind of just came to it was the apex of what she wanted the show to look like. Not to say season 1 wasn't fucking amazing, but there's just a level that you get to after working as a team on one season, seeing what worked, seeing what didn't, seeing any room for improvement, and then being able to capitalize upon on those improvements and really put those into action. And she was super happy with season 2, and I could see why when I saw season 2. It's so... Any of the action, like especially like the Alistair, like the final battle, like between like Alistair and Vox and everything, is so cool, and so imaginative. Like they're just so creative in the way that they animate this, and considering the amount of time that it takes them to animate all of this, one of the first times I saw all of season 2, I watched it. I remember we were down in Orlando, and they hooked it up to one of the hotel room TVs, and at that time, like 20 of the animators were like there at the convention representing like Spindlehorse, and they came and watched it, and it was a hilarious time because the actors were watching this for the first time, and so we were like locked in. All the animators had been working like 40 plus hours, like week after week after week after week on season 2. And so while they were watching it with us, they're reciting every single word, every single line, giving like their director's commentary or animator's commentary. And we were like, Wait, what'd they say? Wait, no, I missed that. Wait, and so we just kind of had to sit back at a certain point, and it was nice because like it just to like listen to them talk about the work that they had done on it, and to see how much the animators that work on this show fucking love it. You know, it is not an easy job that they do. And so I feel like you have to be passionate about the show in order to do what they do, because what they do is like grueling sometimes. But it paid off so fucking much in season 2, and it's gonna pay off again in season 3. I was really astounded, you know, especially with like I said, the Alistair and the Vox battle sequence, but also like the all the animation in Gravity too. Like that was super striking to me. I loved it. I loved it, and it made me want to see more.
I feel like you have such a good understanding about the whole process of it all and the concept. What was the most shocking thing or impressive thing to you about seeing a show get made from start to finish?
Mm,
Because you get to hang out with the animators, you're with the show creator, which
sure.
is pretty rare for a lot of shows.
Yeah.
You're not just in there in the booth, you come and do it the next season.
Yeah.
You see everybody all the time.
Which is such a fucking luxury, you know? You could book a show, get on a show, I mean, whether it's an animation or whether it's TV and film, and you work with those people over the time that the project happens, and then it's over, and then you're done, and you don't see those people anymore unless you made like a really, really good connection. And especially in something like as isolated as voiceover, you're definitely not meeting any of those people. You're in a booth alone. You're consulting with the creative team, so you know the creative team, but you don't meet any of your castmates.
And then you're done. You're out.
Yes, and I was telling, I was in Little Rock, Arkansas, this past weekend, and I was answering a question at a Q&A, about like what are you most thankful for, in regards to like Hazbin Hotel, and I answered the fans, and that's not definitely not like I love the fans, like like it is the fans that I'm so thankful for, and their support that I'm so thankful for, because I wouldn't know Amir, I wouldn't know Erica, I wouldn't know Viv, I wouldn't know Brandon, I wouldn't know all of these beautiful people if it weren't for the fans who came out to support us at conventions, because there'd be no reason for us to go and do conventions, you know? These cons have built in a glue to the structure of our this like family for this show. There wouldn't be a reason to go to any of these conventions, and therefore I wouldn't be making these connections with my castmates if we didn't do conventions, and that's all because of the fans, right? And it's another wonderful thing too, because it's twofold, because I get to connect with my castmates and get to really, really like cement those relationships, and as well I get to meet the fans and cement those relationships too, which is such a privilege in of itself, because how often in the entertainment industry do you work on something, you put it out there, and you're like, oh yeah, like how's it doing numbers wise? Is it getting the viewership? Do people like it? Like, what are they saying on the internet? And what we get to do is actually have a face-to-face interaction with the fans and see what it means to them and how it correlates to their lives and how it's helped them, how specific characters' stories have helped them feel like less alone. And it wasn't until I started doing conventions that I really, really, really fucking saw. I knew art could help people, but it wasn't until I did conventions that I really saw how much it could, and how much this show specifically helps people. It's really fucking beautiful. But to wrap back around to your question about like one thing that surprised me so much about this process, honestly, there's a lot because it's been such a formative and it's my first time really getting to see what the inner workings of putting an animated show on is like. But I would say probably the like amount of time that Viv has lived in this world since like she was a kid, like in middle school when she made Alistair. She's been living with that her whole life in this story, and like that specifically is like, of course there's so much love, of course there's so much whimsy, of course there's so, she, for me, if I had been living with something that long and working on something that long, I feel like I would be like gripping so tightly, to everything. And that's not to say that Vivian doesn't fight for what like she fucking wants this show to be. But I do always have to, uh she's so inspiring because she also, as much as like she understands, as much as she loves and has held on to this show for so long, she also is such a great collaborator in terms of understanding like, her writers and what her animators think, and letting people have their own, like understanding that other people have formed their own relationship with it and want to, in a creative facet, like put their own take on it too. And just, I think seeing those interactions where it's like, oftentimes I feel like when you're making something, you're at the head of it. You are making all of the show running decisions and everything. And it's been really cool to see how collaborative of a process it is, and how much delegating certain facets of the show to people that creatives that you trust is so important, because you as one person are not going to be able to like cover the vast, especially a show like this that's as all encompassing as it is, and with so many characters. Like, you need the help and you need people that you can trust. And so her flexibility and like her ability to delegate specifically and is something that is so surprising to me. And it's been really cool to see just how complicated the structure of putting a show like this up is.
It's so fascinating because
Yeah.
at the last level up, she introduces me to the animators, and there's just 10 people just standing there, and they're like, "Hi, I do this. I do."
Yeah.
It's so impressive. And
Yes.
she has to delegate all those roles, and she has people to
Right.
help delegate, but
Yeah.
she's spearheading all of it.
I know. And then there's also like, there's the working on the project part, and then there's also the personal aspect behind that. And it's like, uh it's that's one thing about the entertainment industry that's always so interesting to me, is like, we see the product, we don't know all of the stuff that goes on behind that, and all the relationships and any of the drama and any of the, and I'm not speaking to anything specifically that's happened in terms of Hasbin's creative process, but and in any given project, there's always hurdles and there's always personal stuff to get past in order to get the thing out there. And that's another thing that I'm like, man, like, you have such a large team, and everybody, I don't know, at a certain point, I think about it with like Broadway too. You have such a large cast for some of these shows. It's we have to pat ourselves on the back that we've all been like, cool, let's lock in. And let's all 50 of us lock in and tell this story. And it's always a beautiful, beautiful example to, I think, just the organizational efforts of creatives too.
Has Viv ever talked to you about her original intention and thoughts behind Angel Dust?
Um, uh, I at one time she's alluded to like different things. The different iterations of him. I think he was straight at one point. Is something that she told me, and he very much started as this like crazy cracked out person, like wild, and like you look at some of the old renderings of Angel Dust, and it very much is. It looks wild. And so she's alluded sometimes. I've also just kind of looked some stuff up on the internet, because that's one thing that I didn't know until I really started getting into conventions, is like the zoophobia of it all, like all of the internet, content that Viv was so transparent about, like in the process of creating the show, and garnering that kind of viewership of like, oh, let's watch this person create something. Like that's how this is how an animator like brings something to life. And she was so open with that, and I didn't realize how far back that goes, and how far back, like oftentimes at these conventions I'm talking to fans who were like, yeah, no, I was here before the pilot, like for like a while before the pilot, and I saw that all come to fruition. It's really, really cool. So they've seen all the different iterations of it too,
What is it like for you? Like, if you turn around, there's the angel dust pop right there.
You got the guy.
What does it feel like for you to see this character physically in real life, out in the world? This isn't just you giving a voice to it.
People cosplaying? Or,
Yeah.
I think it's a bit hilarious, because I think it's like, I think it's hilarious because maybe hilarious isn't even the word I want to choose, but it is insanely fun to see people cosplaying as him, because all of these characters are like uncosplayable. It is really, really insane how well a lot of these cosplayers like can do.
They're ingrained in my brain, some of them.
They're so fucking talented, man. It's insane. And what I mean by like it's hilarious is like, holy shit, how did you nail like a character that looks like this in real life? How did you nail that? Like, how did you do that? And it can't be easy. And I know just from even like the testimony of like, I don't cosplay myself, but like talking to people at conventions that do, like, I always love to ask. I'm like, how long did it take you to put this together? And
what's the longest response you've had?
Oh, probably like a year, like they're like, I was cooking on this for a year. Like I made it custom, and like some things, I had to order, and like, or they commissioned it from somebody. And, it's so much work. And the other thing that I learned about cosplays too is like, on top of the work of like getting the cosplay together, you're always going to experience like 2 to 3 cosplay mishaps throughout the day. Your heel's going to break, or your wig's going to fucking come off. The thing that I always feel bad for people about are the colored contacts, because nobody's got normal fucking eyes in this show. And so everybody always has like really colored like contacts, and they'll come up to my table and be like, "Hey, how are you? Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm doing great." Like, and it's definitely not for the faint of heart, but they look amazing, and it's always a very wonderful thing to see when you have somebody like come up to your table and talk about how much they love you and love the show, and then they turn around and you see a bunch of people come up to them and are like, "Oh my God, I love your cosplay. Can I take a photo with you? Like, can I please?" And like, they're celebrities in of themselves.
What is the line that people come up to you and ask you to say the most?
Oh, geez. I know a lot of people. I get a lot of short people come up to me and they're like, "Hey, can you write on my print, 'Hey, you short king'?" And I really like that one. I think another one that people really enjoy that is also my favorite is like, "Popsicles, you sicko, get your mind out of the gutter." A lot of season 1 quotes. But the season 2 quotes are coming. That the biggest one recently, because of like the drag angel of it all, is "Yeah, I'm a man of many jobs. One of them being a woman." People really like that one. But there's with a character like Angel, I'm really lucky because there's so many fucking iconic quotes. He says insanely funny shit all the time. And I think another thing that's been really wonderful too is just the wide spectrum of of Angel fans specifically that I get to meet, because it ranges anywhere from like people who love him for his irreverence and always saying like crazy shit, and then other people who feel an attachment to him through like the level of kink, or sexuality, or unmitigated expression of sexuality, right? Like that is something that speaks to people too. And one of my favorite things is to connect with people, specifically in the LGBTQ community, that come up to my table and feel so emboldened by viewing a character like Angel on a show, or sex workers too coming up to the table and saying how much they connect with him as well. I think there's also people there's also a lot of people that have like gone through things similar to like the abuse that like Angel's experienced as well, and those conversations are always very cathartic, being able to um talk with folks about how seeing this and seeing him go through his own journey, knowing that his journey is separate from their journey, and knowing that like, oh, I relate to that. Oh, I actually didn't realize what happened until I saw this story being portrayed, and all the different ways that we as human beings do this wonderful thing of projecting ourselves onto the narratives that we're watching, and it psychologically ratifying our perspective toward ourselves and our journey, and it's just it's a beautiful thing to hear all the ways that they identify with Angel. And you talk about him being a multifaceted and layered character in general, with like the background of his character. He's also very multifaceted in the way that he can connect to people's own individual life stories out in the real world. There's a lot of ends. There's a lot of ways into the story of Angel Dust. Yeah.
It's incredible how locked in you sound to Angel Dust. Like the voice is spot on.
Uh-huh.
That's really impressive.
Yeah, I love doing it. I love doing the voice, because my actual voice doesn't really sound a lot. I mean, you can probably mark similarities, but like it doesn't sound like his voice, and so it's always funny when people come up to meet me, and then like I slip into the voice and I see how happy it makes them.
It's so crazy.
It feels like a superpower.
It is 100%.
Yeah.
Are there any other lines from season 2 that people really love?
In season 2, yes. There definitely are. I'm trying to think of them. That's I actually just put up like, we have like suggested quote sheets at conventions, and by no means people can get whatever quote they want, but we just put it up there for inspiration, and we but it usually also helps me remember my fucking lines, man. We just put up the quote sheet for season 2, so like really that like I have many jobs, one of them being a woman is like the main one. I think there's that other one where was it episode 2 or 3, when he's dressed up as like a sheriff, and he's like talking in in like a fake Southern accent. I forget what he says there, but that is one scene that I really, really love.
How has Angel Dust affected your life?
In a myriad of ways. I think specifically, Angel Dust came into my life at a time where I was unlearning a lot about myself. The pandemic had just happened, so you have that kind of existential backdrop to everything. But also, I was entering my late 20s at that point. I had just moved back to the city after the pandemic, and I was in like a studio apartment, subletting from a friend of mine, living alone for the first time ever, um, and uh, and I think I had just turned 27. I was starting to realize that, oh shit, this thing just keeps going. I just keep waking up every day. And cool. All right, sweet. You know, what the fuck do I think about that? Who am I? What actually matters? You know, I think at that time it was a moment of a lot of cognitive growth for me, and expansion for a lot of reasons. And one of those things that I started kicking into and really questioning toward myself was just like my identity as a man, and my how much I identified with like my sexuality and my expression of masculinity over femininity, and everything. And I very much realized that it is kind of crazy. Like the summer before I booked Hazbin was very much a time of me realizing that was I have I had always been trying to fit myself into a box of upholding like hyper masculine standards. And so I would always get down on myself body image wise when I didn't look like a fucking beefcake, you know? And even the work that I would put into my body image and working out and stuff, it was just never enough. Like I tipped like way into it in the pandemic, and I was like still not happy with how I looked. And I started to see, I'm like, okay, I think the reason I'm not happy is because not because I'm not doing a great job, or not because I, have a beautiful body. Like I am not able to see myself as a beautiful human because clearly the standard that I'm upholding myself to is fundamentally flawed. And it's a standard that we are force fed culturally. And so I started to ask myself, I'm like, how would I be if well, one of the first ways that started to express itself is like, I don't know if I'm straight. I don't know if I'm actually, like all the way straight. I find men beautiful. Like I really like feel as though I find I'm not attracted to to just women. I'm attracted to people, and so this was very much like the first uh step toward realizing that, like, oh, I'm a pansexual person. Like, I think that is how I love, and how but it first started to express itself just because I wasn't aware of, like, different any different labels of expressing that other than like being bisexual. And so I was like, what if I'm bi? What does that mean? Wait, if I'm bi, then should I really be like, it started to loosen up like all of the hyper masculine standards that I felt like I needed to uphold myself to. Maybe I can wear clothing that is more fun, or maybe I can let go of this need to like purport myself in such a way that is I don't know, more austere and more like reserved, or less emotional, or less flamboyant, because I'm I very much do have effeminate facets to my personality, and the way that I move about the world, and it's a gorgeous and wonderful thing. And it was that moment when I started to question, my sexuality, that I started to realize I can be however and behave whatever fucking way I want to. And the whole sexuality revelation of it all really helped to bring that to light. But it was still very much something that, like, I was keeping close to my chest, because I just was discovering it. And then I got Angel, and suddenly I'm playing this hypersexual, gay character, where and then I'm realizing, like, oh, okay, um this is a character that, and it's also going to be a big a big show with a big following. And there was a moment of me being like, yes, of course. Yes, like, this feels great. Of course I can play this. And there was a bit of just a moment of realizing, like, um I almost had a little bit of imposter syndrome, like if I hadn't had that revelation of feeling like, oh, I think I'm bi. I think, like I don't think I'm straight. I don't think I would have been able to lock in on Angel as much as I did.
So it was finding comfort in yourself that made it.
Very much so. And then as a result of playing the character and locking into his femininity and his, the fluidity of his sexuality and his overt expression of his sexuality really helped me get a lot more comfortable, because I still had like a lot of internalized homophobia, like toward myself, like when I started to find that I landed more on a queer spectrum, like and Angel helped a lot with that too. It's like, get over it, dude. Like, you're living in the judgments of other people rather than really asking yourself how you want to live and how you want to move in the world. And I don't know. It helped me. It helped me a lot.
It's
Yeah.
crazy how much serving the character gave for other people as well as you.
Yes. Yeah. Very much so. Very
Really
much
incredible.
so.
Are you discovering this too as you're reading the script and you're having this, I don't know the word, but like more understanding of yourself for that?
Yeah. I think I think reading the script and reading like Angel Dust's story is definitely an edifying experience or was for me, and continues to be as well. But the script in of itself is a very cool experience to project myself onto and relay back to myself. But I'd say really the full gamut um, of what this character has to give is in doing the performance, seeing the show, talking to the fans, right? Like all of those are integral to my perspective of Angel, because it's there would be no Angel Dust, there would be no show without Spindlehorse and us actors, and but there also wouldn't be a show without the fans. And so their perspective matters just as much, right? At least to me and my understanding of the character. It's a reciprocal endeavor, right? Like there's this metaphysical concept called the unity of opposites that I really, really fucking love. And I love applying it to like the creative medium as well. Because art is not made in a vacuum by the artists, right? Like it's made to be shared. And in the unity of opposites, it's like you have two distinct and seemingly opposite entities, right? Like light and dark, and they couldn't be more different, right? But without one, you wouldn't have the other. And so therefore they're kind of a part of the same system. Like they are actually the same thing. And so it's the same with life and death, it very much, it is really the yin and yang of it. Like, and I feel the exact same way about the creators and the fans. Like we're all one symbiotic organism. There would be nothing without the fans. There would be nothing without the creators. But like my view of the art itself, and of the character itself, is it has to encompass the intentions of the artists who made it, and myself, and then also taking into account the viewers definition or experience of the material, which is so varied and wild and wonderful, and it really is a both and type situation. Like he is all of the things that people want him to be, whether it's Viv or whether it's the fans or whether it's me. I think that's the crazy thing, is understanding that like we have the way that we want to portray the character and the story we want to tell of the character, but when you put it out there, it's everybody else's to
Perceive
grasp
it.
and to own.
Could I have you scoot a little closer to the mic?
Yes, definitely.
Can we do some rapid fire?
Yes, I know I'm kind of chatty.
No. I love this. What was the hardest scene to record?
The hardest scene to record. Am I okay here?
Yes. That's
Okay,
perfect.
got you. The hardest scene to record. It's funny. Somebody asked this at the panel last week, and I don't really think I have one.
Even the songs?
Even the songs, man. I mean, sometimes the songs can get a little grueling because we do so many takes of it, and I think the only time that it's gotten really tough is episodes where we are screaming a lot in the lines and then also having to sing a song on top of that. And for that reason, like, your voice just gets really fucking tired. And unfortunately, there's been like a couple sessions where like so much has gotten thrown into one session that like we as the actors are like, uncle, like, I don't know. I don't think I'm giving my best performance here, And then that's a learning experience of being like, cool. Maybe we, need to spread it out a little bit more, because and we as like musical theater actors are really, really in tune with our voices and like their level
The
of
abilities.
fatigue. Yeah.
One word to describe the Hazbin fandom.
Oh, jeez. Oh my God. Beautiful. I'm not gonna try to. They're too much to put into one word, but I'll say they're beautiful.
Coffee before recording? Yes or no?
Not coffee. I'm sensitive to caffeine, and I realize coffee just gives me a lot of anxiety. I'll have green tea instead. I love green tea because it gives you the caffeine, but it also has like the L-theanine in it, and it just kind of relaxes you a bit. So I'm on, but I'm like not. I'm not. I don't. Yeah, the difference. The difference between like, what is it like? Spotlight or spotlight consciousness and lantern consciousness.
I assume it's more.
Yes, it's like a
versus-
coffee for me is like it's a laser beam, and then when I drink green tea, I'm just a lot more aware.
Right.
Anything green tea or black tea is just like, that's my caffeine of choice.
When do you prefer to do a song or dialogue? Morning, afternoon, or evening?
I prefer dialogue dialogue if dialogue if it has to be earlier. If we do a song, I very much would rather it be noon or like 1 o'clock.
So your voice is warmed up. You're awake.
Very much so, because any song, any singer will tell you, if they have to record something, they have to be up at least 4 hours before they record that. So if I'm having to go in at 10 a.m. to record a song, I'm getting up at 6.
Interesting.
It takes a while for your voice to wake up because it takes a while for your body to wake up. Your voice isn't going to wake up without your body. So definitely I'm trying to hit like yoga, definitely trying to do like some ab workout and trying to obviously warm up your voice, but your body is as much, an important part of that as well. And the more time, the better.
Besides Angel Dust, which character is your favorite?
Charlie. I really love Charlie. I see myself in Charlie like actually more than any other character, like which is a weird thing to say playing Angel, but like I very much see myself in Charlie. Yeah, there's this ruthless optimism that she has. And moments where she's like prone to feeling, acute destitution and malaise, but I definitely, I find myself oscillating between like that everything's gonna be great, and then other moments of being like, maybe we're all fucked, so yeah.
I know you
Charlie.
can't say much, but what can you say about season 3? Is there anything you're excited for the audience to see as
Yes.
far as Angel Dust,
Yes.
as far as story,
Yes.
as far as anything?
Yes.
Got it. Wow, Blake Roman talks about season 3.
You heard it here, folks.
Can we do some fan submitted questions?
Yes, please. I would love that.
Which line of the show was hardest to perform?
Oh man. The one I come back to is like the one in season 1 right after or right before Loser Baby, where it's like it's not an act, it's who I'm supposed to be, and this is my escape, where I can forget about how much I hate everything, right? Like it's that line specifically is just so fucking sad, you know? Um and I remember taking a lot of time trying to understand like what point does a person have to get to in order to admit that, you know, within the stream of like him and Husk's conversation at that point. And also like why am I admitting that too, you know? And that keys into just how special his and Husk's relationship is and how much Husk can just get under his skin in a way that is, you know, that pokes at him and agitates him, but at the same time really yields a positive result, right? Because it's not until he could admit that he could get past it.
I would love to know if your vocal range in singing for this show has had any influence on your personal music.
Um, uh, I think no, not really. They've been kind of synonymous, you know. Andrew and Sam are really good at looking at their cast, seeing where their vocal range lies, by listening to stuff that we've sung before or trying stuff on us. And they play to our strong suits, you know. They're never going to give us a song that is like at too far past the brink, excuse me, of like our capabilities. And likewise, the music that I write, I try to keep it within my, you know, capabilities as well. Yeah.
Are there any songs besides your own that you've been secretly playing on repeat?
Oh, um, uh, yes, Clean It Up. Clean It Up is my favorite just because and literally just because the part where Kamiko goes, asshole, I think it is so fucking hilarious. I love, love, love that song. I think that might be my favorite song in season 2.
How do you embody Angel's character? Are there any of your personal traits that could relate to him?
Yeah, very much so. Luckily, they're traits that I feel like I'm slowly but surely moving past. You know, it's more so the traits that he uses as defense mechanisms. I there was you know, Angel puts up a wall. Angel is very strategic about how close he lets himself get to people. He feels as though he needs to purport himself in a specific way in order to be perceived in a specific way and therefore be, you know, like defend himself against any sort of hurt or trauma or further trauma. For me, I think the way that that kind of expresses in my life is oftentimes I always feel like there is a right and correct thing to say in any given moment. And a lot of my younger life was spent fixating on trying to be fucking perfect. And which is a thing that Angel tries to be as well. And I wanted to be perfect because I wanted to make all the right decisions so that all the things that I wanted would happen and that people would like me and see me in a certain way. And I remember throughout college specifically, I very much wanted to be seen in a certain way. And I would try to be strategic about how I was in a social setting, in order for people to give me the validation that I so greatly wanted. Um, and as I've gotten older, luckily, I've realized that when you're approaching life in that certain way, where you feel as though you need to put yourself through a filter of strategy or tactic, you know, at any given time, you're more often than not going to be led down roads and into relationships that are not actually speaking to your heart and are not actually conducive to your authentic spirit, right? What I've learned now and what I think Angel is in the process of learning too is to make decisions and make connections not based off of strategy but based out of honesty and authenticity and leading with like if I don't if I don't fuck with you, like, then that's okay. You know, I'm not going to keep trying, you know, I'm not going to keep trying to make this relationship happen because you're somebody that would be a really good connection for me. You know what I mean? Like, or anything like that, which I think is very much a systematic to the entertainment industry. Is oftentimes we feel like somebody's a good connection to have, and we should stay, you know, in their orbit regardless of the fact that they're a total douchebag, you know, and they doesn't make us happy to be around them. Um, Now it's like I feel like I'm getting to the point where like I'm just gonna let my honest instinct lead me into relationships and lead me to um opportunities, and however people see me, you know, is how they see me. And how I feel, how I'm going to validate myself is understand that I'm valid just by existing in a room, not because I have any accolades that make me more important than anybody else, you know? Um, yeah, getting to the point too where I'm better than nobody and nobody's better than me, right? Like we're all just kind of here on the same plane. And there shouldn't be a strategy. There shouldn't be a chess game. Actually, I have a little chess piece for a poem that I like that literally is about this. It's a poem by Hafez, and it I can recite it for you if you
Please.
want. It goes. What's the difference between your experience of existence and that of a saint? The saint knows that the spiritual path is a sublime chess game with God, and that God has just made such a fantastic move that the saint is now continually tripping over joy and bursting out in laughter, saying, I surrender, I surrender. Whereas, my dear, I'm afraid you still think you have 1,000 serious moves. And that I remember when I first read that, I was like, woof. Woof. Like it very much connected with me. We view life as a chess game, but really what it should be is just us letting our hearts lead us where we want to go.
Right.
You know? Yeah.
That was deep.
Yeah.
Did you think Hazbin was going to mean so much to so many people?
I didn't actually think anything. I am so
No
like,
expectations.
I couldn't have any expectations. I think that, you know, I had been a part of so many creative teams within the context of theater, of people always saying like, this is gonna be huge, kid.
Your life's
This
gonna
is gonna your life's
change.
gonna change. You better get ready after this. And then it doesn't come to fruition. You know, you have to be confident with like the art that you're putting out there. So I by no means like feel resentful to the people that I've worked with that like said that had the confidence and said like this is gonna be big. This is gonna be big, even though it didn't really end up, you know, being huge. But you experience that enough times throughout workshops of people being like, we're going to take this to Broadway, you know, it's definitely going to get there. And then it doesn't. And then you're back to the drawing board and you're back to being unemployed, you know, that when people were like, Hazbin's going to be huge. The fans are crazy. They really love it. So you better get ready, strap in. Like Richard would say that to me. Richard Horowitz would say that because he had experienced, you know, the amount of, you know, the fervor around Hell of a Boss. And I was kind of like, I'll believe it when I see it. All right, Rich, you know,
See you at the next session.
yeah, exactly. And I very much could not, you know, let myself get to the point where I expected anything. So I just kind of defaulted to my normal flight pattern and hoped that it would be okay. And at the time, I was doing a Broadway show that ended up running for like 4 months and then ended right about when Hazbin came out. And I called my convention manager, who I'd linked up with before that, and I was like, "Hey, man, like the show's over. Like, really sucks, but I just want to let you know that like I'm open for convention dates if you'd be cool with that." And he was like, Yeah, okay. Hey man, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry about like your show, bro, but things are about to be crazy for you. And that was the first time I was like, whoa, because my convention manager had up until that point been like, well, we don't know how things will go. We have no idea. But then something happened after the show came out that gave him like, oh, word.
It's a good show.
Yeah. And then it wasn't until we did me, Erica, and Amir, and it really was not until this moment that we went down to do the SCAD festival in Atlanta, and then our convention manager picked us up, and we drove to Birmingham, Alabama, to do this convention called Comic-Con, which was maybe like 10,000 attendees, and so it was a smaller con, but then we were looking out over the convention floor at that point, and I was reading like fucking, I don't know, Priory of the Orange Tree, which is like an 800-page book, and I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna take this to my table, and I'm gonna read it all day, and hopefully somebody will come up to me and talk to me, and we all had like reading material, we all like kind of like had shit to keep us busy throughout the day, and then we went down, and it was just nonstop lines all day, every day of that con. And by the end of the first day, I remember Erica and Amir and I getting up to the like the green room like fucking zombies, throwing ourselves on this dirty ass convention room floor, and we were like, I think everything's gonna be okay. I think we're gonna be I think we're gonna be all right. And that, like, the ability to say that, like, the three of us, like, pretty much, like, almost started crying, because the ability to say that as, like, a working actor is crazy. It's an insane thing. And that's another reason why, like, you know, I just where my life is at now monetarily is all because of these conventions. We're not getting paid a lot as actors to do our actual acting. These conventions where we're able to connect with the fans are like the main mode of income for most of us, and it's absolutely changed all of our fucking lives, and it is something that I will be I'm like I like want to cry now thinking about it, forever thankful to the fans of this show and to the show in general and everyone who fucking works on it, because it has absolutely changed everything about my life and everything about like the future of my career, so that was the moment. That was the moment where we realized just how much what we had stepped in.
On behalf of the fans, you gave so much to the show, and I know how much it really means to everybody. So thank you for that.
It means a lot to me too.
Thank you for coming by. This has been awesome hearing your story and opening up.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Love to have you back anytime.
Oh my God, please. I love talking to you.
What else do you have coming up?
So, like I said, I'm in LA working on music right now.
Would you do an album?
Oh yeah. I mean, I've written music my whole life, since like middle school when I started like playing guitar, and
were you on an acoustic?
Yes, and so like now I've started like kicking into like music production and really kicking into songwriting, and Hazbin has given so much visibility to my music and myself, just as an entity within the industry, that like my Spotify, because of Hazbin, has like 3 million monthly listeners. And so a friend of mine at Atlantic Records, who does the A&R, like caught wind of that and was like, hey man, do you make music? And I'm like, yes, I'm trying to make it right now. And he's like, come to LA, okay? We're gonna do this thing. And so that's really the chapter that I'm in right now. And who knows, where this is gonna go. But I'm gonna do a thing, and I'm gonna see where that thing leads me. And it is really rising tide lifts all boats. This voiceover gig has which seems so reductive to say this voiceover gig, you know, it's literally everything, has changed my whole life, because then now it's providing another opportunity for my self-expression to, you know, take the stage. And I'm so pumped. I'm so pumped.
Do you have any songs written already that you're in love with?
Yes. Oh yeah.
That you've written here in LA?
That I've written here in LA, and also that we have one specifically that like is mastered and produced, that I worked with a producer, Matthew Taylor Bray, out at Fever Dream Studios in Bushwick, that we just finished, and I absolutely am in love with. And now it's just a matter of like kind of strategizing, like, okay, cool, let's get some sessions here, let's make some music, let's see where things sit, and how exactly we want to roll out what me being a musician or a music artist is.
I want to connect you with my old roommate. He does, he wrote the Ricky, Dickie, and Dawn theme song.
Oh, yeah?
He did another theme song on Nickelodeon. I can't remember right now.
Yeah.
But he's a songwriter. He does a lot of Disney, Nickelodeon
Oh,
shows.
fantastic. Yeah, I would love that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks so much for coming by.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Do you have a YouTube channel?
I have a YouTube channel. I don't like post a lot there, but I really should. I'm more so on Instagram, more so on like TikTok. Though trying to find an alternative to TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks for coming by.
Yeah. Thank you
Awesome.
so much.
See you guys. That was so great.
Yay. I'm glad you think so.
I hope you guys enjoyed that interview. Today's conversation is brought to you by FanDuel.